Yo, what's up, fan base? It's your boy Blaze Hollow coming at you again with another What If, and this time I'll be bringing you part 18 of All For One. I know you've all been excited for this one, so I'm not going to drag this intro out, so let's get into it and get things started.
Honestly don't think you can become a hero.
The room went silent, like it was a sense of death in the air, like two legends were about to clash and truly decide the future in this one moment. Both teams headed out to their location, but Hana was the only one stopped by All Might in the hallway. Good luck, sweetie. A little bit of advice. Sometimes the best defense is the best offense. Cut them off before they get too deep into your own fortress. Hana with a determined look on her face as she was tightening the gloves on her hand. Don't worry, father. I'll handle this. I'll let him know that this is a hero school and it's our territory. While the villain team was going inside the building, getting ready to set up traps and where they're going to place the bomb, the hero team outside were seeming to be having a very interesting conversation. Izuku smiled as he turned to look at Denki. I have a plan for an easy victory and you don't really have to do anything except for one thing. Denki smiled at the idea of an easy passing grade. What exactly do you need me to do, man? Izuku looked around, realizing that nobody was watching them as he made a clone of himself. I need you to come inside the building with me and just videotape it on your phone. I don't need you to worry about being captured. We're going to be a distraction for my clone while he scales the building. Denki quickly pulled out his phone, getting ready to record, realizing how easy Izuku's plan is going to give them victory. So, do you want it in HD, IMAX, Blu-ray? How do you want it to play out? Izuku chuckled at the idea of how easily Denki was willing to go along with everything. As long as you're able to tell what's going on in the video, that's all that really matters to me. The sirens were going off for the exercise to begin. The clone grew claws and a crimson-like tail as he started to turn invisible and scale the side of the building. As the original Izuku along with Denki walked inside, he was recording and going to turn the corner heading towards the staircase, only for an explosion to blow them both back from Bakugo. It's time I finally put you in your place, villain. Izuku jumped back as he grabbed Denki, making sure that he stayed behind him. I had a feeling that she would be sending you first, so tell me, is it fun being my sister's little lapdog? Enough yelping for her, or are you just done nipping at my heels from back then? Bakugo scowled as he was extremely pissed off. I attacked you because I want you out of this school. I'm going to mess you up so bad that you'll be begging to leave. Izuku just shook his head, motioning for Denki to get some distance as he would keep on recording as he then turns back to Bakugo. You can definitely try, but I must ask, is my sister hiding on the upper floors because she's afraid to fight me herself? Bakugo didn't answer as he was starting to charge toward Izuku, who tapped the ground with his fist, starting to make a gold-like tendril as it swung and smacked Bakugo back into the staircase. Izuku smiled as he had some of the gold wrap around his body to make a makeshift armor and a pair of golden gauntlets on his arm. Don't worry, Bakugo, I understand that you would like to have a punch fight, so I'll definitely give you one, so when you wake up in Recovery Girl's office, you don't have to be upset with me. Bakugo struggled to get onto his feet as his back was aching from getting slammed into the staircase as he was breathing heavily, allowing sparks to fly from his hand. If you want to settle this with Fitz, I'll be truly glad to knock your lights out. Bakugo and Izuku charged at each other, going blow for blow as golden knuckles against explosions as the entire first floor started to shake from the impact from the both of them. Meanwhile, in the background, all of this, Denki was still recording the whole situation, not realizing that Hana was sneaking up from behind him just as she was about to grab him and take him out of the exercise completely, only for another Izuku to come out of the shadows and smack her with a watery hand. Hasn't anyone ever told you not to hurt the camera guy? Hana was confused as she looked at the fight between Bakugo and the other Izuku, wondering how there is one right in front of her right now. Explain to me how there are two of you right now. Izuku had a playful look on his face as he just stuck out his tongue at his sister while laughing. Oh, Hana, I'm so hurt that you forgot about one of my original quirks that I was given when I was blessed with these abilities. It's called Clone, and it allows me to make multiples of myself. That's why you're fighting off against another version of me, but the real question is, am I the real one or am I a fake? Hana gritted her teeth a little bit, watching this villain in front of of her flaunt all of these powers that were never even his to begin with. It doesn't matter if you're the real or the fake, I'll destroy you either way. People like you don't deserve to be at this school. Denki was a little bit confused as he was swinging his camera back and forth between each encounter, not knowing which one to record. Izuku, which battle should I be recording? You didn't tell me that you were going to be having multiple battles at once. Izuku looked away from Hana to look at Denki. It doesn't really matter which one you find more interesting, I just want to be able to show them later just how far they have to go to catch up with me. Denki nodded, realizing that it is more important to record the fight between Izuku and his sister. Are you sure you're going to be able to handle this battle from two different fronts, especially with your power cut? Hana was confused by that statement, wondering how Izuku power could possibly be cut. What does that mean by your power has been cut? Are you saying that I'm facing you in a weaker form? Izuku looked over at her with an impassive look. It doesn't matter if I am or am not, I can take you down just as I am right now. Hana was enraged by this statement as she started to channel energy throughout her body. While this was happening, the stone walls around them started to ripple all over like they were shaking out of place. Do you truly think you can defeat me without being able to use your full strength? Don't make me laugh, villain. You will end up regretting your choices when it comes to coming up against a true hero like myself. Izuku just started chuckling as he clicked each one of his fingers together as a small little flame of different colors started to flash as he then enclosed his palm to make the flames go all over his hand. You truly think because you have all this power that you are superior to me, yet how I see it, even with these inferior quirks, I wonder if strategy, time, and effort can be just as good as an overpowered quirk. As the both of them were getting ready to clash, something blew between them as it crashed right into the wall, revealing it to be Baku, who looked like his face and chest were both pounded in. As the other copy of Izuku walked over like he barely had a care in the world, he then decided, with both versions of Izuku sharing a high five, the gold touch version faded away as Hana was completely shocked seeing her partner completely beaten and broken. Hana was shaking a little bit, almost horrified at the sight. You truly beat him down with no mercy, didn't you? You have no care for your actions whatsoever. Izuku looked over at the mangled body, feeling a little bit bad, wondering if that clone had more animosity in him than he did. I will admit that the clone went a little bit too far, but it also proves that Bakugo's fighting spirit, even though I don't like him, it shows that he will fight all the way to the end. Anna's telekinesis started to go out of control as part of the wall started to tear stuff out as it levitated around her in a vortex. You showed no remorse to Bakugo, so I will truly treat you like the villain you are and show you no remorse for anything that you have done here today. Izuku rolled up his sleeve a little bit to check out his watch as he was thinking how much longer it's going to take for his clone to track down and reach the bomb. The saddest part about this whole situation is that you don't even realize that you lost. Anna flinched a little bit, wondering how she could have lost a battle that hasn't even started yet between them. And she looked around wondering if maybe there was another clone or if maybe his partner ran off, but then she looked to see Denki still standing there recording. And she didn't see Izuku split into another clone, so it just kept on mind-boggling her how she already lost the battle. Explain yourself to me, we haven't even started yet. We've been bantering and throwing little jabs, so how have you defeated me so far? Izuku just exhaled a little bit as he put his hands in his pocket. It's quite simple. Even if you were able to defeat the both of us down here, the clone I sent upstairs to climb the building from the outside has probably already found the bomb, and in a moment he taps it, you are going to lose. Anna was about to scream at him for using his cheating tactics, only for a loud booming noise to be heard from upstairs as they look up like the building was about to collapse within itself. As we cut to the top of the building 5 minutes earlier, as the ghoul clone of Izuku was looking through the windows of each room on the top floor when he finally came across the bomb and broke open the window and walked inside. This is way too easy. The fact that they have no one guarding the bomb in their two-man group is just sad. The clone walked up to the bomb with a smile on his face, knowing that he was about to get an easy victory as he tapped the back of his hand as his knuckles hit the metal, only for him to hear a quick ticking noise. And before he could even react, the whole thing blew up, causing the entirety of the top floor to destroy within itself as the lower floors were starting to collapse. As we cut back down to the lower floors as everybody was panicking, seeing a couple tons of concrete about to come down and crush them. Ano looked up at the ceiling as it was starting to come down. What the hell have you done? Are you trying to kill us all? Denki was freaking out, not understanding what was going on, thinking he was about to die. Izuku, please tell me you have a plan to get us out of this situation. We cut to inside the monitoring room as most of Class 1A was freaking out, wondering if the 4 of their classmates were about to be killed, as All Might started to walk away from the monitoring room like he was about to head over to the testing site, but little do people notice he was walking towards the door, he had a smirk on his face. As he was looking back at the monitors, his facial expression changed to shocked out of nowhere. "Don't worry, I'll see what I can do. Hopefully I can make it in time." As we cut to back inside of the collapsing building, Hana was trying to hold up the roof using her telekinesis, but it was way too much for her as she was only able to slow it down for a few seconds, only allowing Denki to hurry up and grab the unconscious Baku and bring him over to everybody else. While Izuku was going through his list of quirks, thinking about how he could handle the situation, he quickly grabbed onto the three of them, placing one of his hands onto the ground, turning everything around him into gold, making a dome to protect them. As the building continued to crumble down on top of them, from the outside perspective, it looked like the building has crushed them all to death as the other staff members of UA made their way onto the scene along with Class 1A. Overhaul rushed over to the building, trying to use his quirk to remove the collapsed rubble, panicking, wondering if the students were crushed to death. "Come on, kids, find some ways to survive this. Don't let a building be the reason why you couldn't become heroes." Titan ran over as he quickly bit into his hand, turning himself into his Jaw Titan form, picking up stones and tossing them out of the way, hoping that Izuku survived. "Please, boss, be okay. I don't know what I'll do with myself if I let you die under my watch." Shoto started to manipulate the stone around him, getting it out of the way as he was constantly trying to find something. He didn't want to believe that his brother was dead. "Don't give up, Titan. Izuku's stronger than all of us. It will take more than a collapsing building on him to take him down." Shinso was looking at the collapsed rubble in horror, having flashbacks to all the horrible things that they went through and how encouraging Izuku was for all of them, only for the world to do this to him. As he just saw All Might standing there, not doing anything about the situation. "Hey, almighty dumbass, why aren't you getting off of your ass and actually helping? Your daughter's in there. You should actually be worried about her, right?" All Might had a smile on his face as he looked over at Shinso. "Do not worry, I'm actually trying to analyze the rubble to see which part they might be in so we can start organizing instead of just throwing around random stones and wasting time." Shinso had the feeling that All Might was lying through his teeth, just trying to buy more time for the stones to crush Izuku. "I can truly see right through you, All Might. I know you're trying to hope that Izuku got crushed to death by the stones." Ina walked over to Shinso and put her hand right on his shoulder, trying to calm him down. "You need to stop this. It isn't going to help at all. If anything, you should be down there using your muscle fibers to help move debris." All Might let out a joyful chuckle. "See, young man, your classmate here knows that you need to stay calm in situations like this instead of throwing around accusations that will make the entire situation worse." Overhaul was starting to get a skin irritation from overusing his quirk on the stone. Having to take a break, he sees a debate between All Might and the kids as he makes his way over there. "Even though it kills me to say it, you are right, All Might, but I would appreciate it if you would start helping out." All Might just nodded as he started to walk over to a pile of debris. "There shouldn't be an issue. Give me a few minutes, I'll have this taken care of." Overhaul just shook his head as he looked back over at Shinso and Mina. "Listen, I understand that you're upset, but getting into an argument with him is not going to do anything. Izuku would want us to keep a level head about this entire situation." Shinso was gritting his teeth as he was clenching his hand just so tight it almost was going to pierce through his skin of his palm. "We both know that he had to have something to do with this. There's no way this is a coincidence that the bomb in their building was a real one." Overhaul was scratching a little bit on his face that was still irritated by the rash as it was starting to fade away. "We can't say for certain. Throwing around accusations will put more problems into our lives, and besides, we're missing the most crucial thing about this entire situation right now." Shinso was angry, trying his best not to scream out in anger. "And what exactly will that be?" Nina, in a sorrow-filled voice, spoke up. "That would be proof. We don't have any proof, so it would be our word against his." Overhaul nodded his head almost like he wanted to disagree. "That's right, we all know that if All Might is put into court or even tried to be tested for his crimes, no one will believe us unless we have proof he is way too popular. He would just turn it around and put all accusation against us." While the three of them were having this conversation, the rest were helping out with debris as the pile started to shake a little bit. As everybody was backing up a little bit, wondering if it was going to slide over, only for a golden tendril to pierce through the top of it, seeming to be clearing away a hole in the middle of it all. As 4 people popped out of the hole, revealing Izuku, Hana, Denki, and Bakugo as they were unharmed by the collapsing building. As they pulled themselves out of the hole, they made sure to carry the unconscious Bakugo over to everybody. Hana was still in disbelief about what she just saw, seeing Izuku being able to hold up the dome on top of them with all that weight. "How did you do that? Even if gold is a stronger material than stone, shouldn't it have broke underneath all that weight?" Izuku was exhausted as he actually sat down on some of the rubble, a little bit of blood leaking out from his mouth. "Alright, it usually would have been impossible to let all that weight slam onto onto the dome. That's why on the outside layer there were tendrils smacking away heavy stones as much as possible, kind of making an air pocket between us and the actual debris. That's why even if it did get through, it wouldn't be as heavy. Denki was on his knees as he was praying to God, thinking that he was just so happy to be alive. Izuku, you are my hero. If it wasn't for you, we'd all be dead. So how did you become so strong and smart? Izuku was breathing hard as he was watching everybody trying to dash their way over to them. It's because I have people to protect. If I'm weak, I will lose them, but if I'm strong, I'll be able to make sure they survive. Hina, seeing Izuku, ran up to him and hugged him so tight with all of her strength, not wanting to let him go, worrying that he might fade away. Shinso walked over to Izuku as he was scratching the back of his head. Geez, man, how many lives do you have? For all the crazy things that you put yourself through, I would think that you're immortal. Aiden rushes over and his jaws tighten for him as he quickly pops out, getting onto his hands and knees, bowing in front of Izuku. I am so sorry, boss. I should have been able to see something like this coming. It's because of me that you're hurt. I will accept any punishment that you have for me. Kyoto just shook his head as he walked over and hit Titan on the back of the head. We all know it's not your fault, and Izuku definitely does not want to hear you talking like this. Kyoto then looks over at Izuku. You definitely gave us all a heart attack, but why are you using Gold Touch when you could have easily used Air Cannon to just blast the building away? Izuku has a shocked look on his face like he didn't even think about using that. I didn't even think about trying to blow it all away. I was just trying to make sure that we had the best chance of survival. Overhaul was chuckling as he was walking over to the group of children. For somebody who acts like they know everything, you sure can be simple-minded sometimes, but I am truly glad to see that you're alive, Izuku. A few hours later, after everybody gets checked out by Overhaul for injuries, Izuku was summoned to the principal's office. After he arrives in Nezu's office, being greeted by the small furry principal motioning for him to sit down. How are you feeling, Izuku, after your whole little incident? Izuku was a little bit hesitant to answer, but honestly he felt like he didn't have anything to lose by telling the truth to the principal. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit shook up. I didn't expect you to try to get rid of me so early in the school year. Nezu sighed, knowing that the boy was going to have trust issues. Please, young man, know that we had no intentions for anything like this to happen to you, but I do have a feeling I know who did it. Izuku raised an eyebrow in curiosity. Please tell me, who do you think did this to me? Nezu was a little bit hesitant to give his answer when he was thinking about it, because he knew that he would be pinning the blame on two members of his staff. Well, it could either be Powerloader, who designed the fake bombs, or All Might, who was actually in early today to check on the prop. Izuku found it convenient that All Might came in early just to check on a few props. Was anybody in the room with him when he was checking the prop? Nezu started to look through the documents that he got about the earlier events. Yes, from the testimony that I got from Powerloader, he was with All Might the entire time, and he said that the bombs were supposed to go off if they were messed with the wrong way or if the timer went off, but they were not supposed to blow up. They were supposed to let out paint splatter all over the room to simulate an explosion. Izuku leaned back in his chair and was thinking about it, wondering if Powerloader was in on this. Was there any chance that All Might or Powerloader might have been messing with the bombs before they were brought out to the mock city? Nezu was looking over statements and documentation and was even trying to use his computer to try to get some of the videos of the prop department along with the support course room. From what this video was able to show me, the bombs were not messed with. Powerloader seemed to be trying to get All Might away from them, but that might be because All Might was holding up a paint bucket. Izuku thought about that scenario for a little bit. This is going to be crazy theory, but what if that paint bucket isn't actually holding any paint? What if it's some kind of solution that is supposed to explode if certain conditions are met? He could be trying to fool Powerloader by putting in different paint into one of the bombs. Nezu was thinking about that as he dragged off into his own thoughts, remembering that All Might didn't really want Izuku to be accepted into UA. It's possible, but again, we don't have any proof. I do find it odd that this is the second time something has happened to you and your friends. Since you came to UA, first it was the testing site turning into a war zone for you, and now this. I am truly wishing to express to you my apologies for these events. Izuku was starting to think about the entrance exam and then thinking about how the principal had to be there in the observation room. When our testing site started to go rogue, did anybody try to stop you guys from interfering? Nezu was thinking about it, remembering that it was Endeavor who didn't want them to intervene, but it was strange how quickly All Might wanted to intervene. Now that you mention it, your adopted father did not want us to intervene as he thought that you all could handle it. But what was weird is how quickly All Might was ready to jump in, knowing that your test would probably be null and void. Izuku smiled as he stood up getting ready to leave. leave. You should probably start putting on your own investigation on this whole situation. It's not a coincidence that the symbol of peace seems to be coming up a lot in this conversation, but I'll leave that up to you, Principal. Nezu frowned as he watched the boy leave as the door closed behind Izuku, leaving the principal in his thought. I truly hope that we're being misled, Izuku. But that's where I'm going to leave it off this time, guys. But I do have a quick announcement to bring out. I actually have a few of them, so please do not click off the video just yet. First announcement is that I'm sorry it took me so long to get this video out to you guys, but I've been having long shifts at work and having a lot of family issues. My second announcement is that I'll be putting out a poll later today to decide what video will be next. It will either be part 3 of Monkey King or part 4 of Unlimited Blade Work. If you do not recognize the second option, it was one of my older series where I placed myself in my own creative world of My Hero where I had Unlimited Blade Work. And my third and final announcement is something you're probably going to enjoy and thank my editor Ed for. Since I lost a bet to him, I now have to make an hour-long video based on my Hormone series. But the catch is it has to be about romance and be all kind and fluffy instead of my usual harsh and battle-heavy chapters. So that will be up to you to decide how you feel about that. But with all that said, I'm finally out this time, guys. Bye.